darling, hold me tight.
Welcome to Heart about everything lupus, where we discuss everything about lupus. I'm Susie Eaglesflat from Lupus South Africa and Andrea's Gift. Today we are going to listen to a testimony of a very special lady in the lupus community, our own exercise lady, Melissa Adams. Melissa has been an inspiration to all of us and a story you cannot afford to miss. So join me and let's listen together.
Whisper to me, then soft through a starry night.
So get a cup of nice hot coffee or tea, put your earphones in, sit on a relaxing chair, and let us discuss lupus.
I'll hear a rhapsody.
Hi, my name is Melissa Adams. I live in South Africa, Johannesburg. I was diagnosed with SLE over 24 years ago. I'm a wife, I'm a mother. I work full-time in corporate, love spending time with my family, and I believe that my story is not more important than yours. I believe that your life has purpose. Your story is important. Your dreams count. Your voice matters. And you were born to make an impact. I really feel great when I see people improving and upgrading their lifestyles for the better by making small, consistent changes that improves their health. As you will hear, a lot of ups and downs, but this is what lupus is all about. Unpredictable. Come when I come, deal with me when I come. When you at your best, I can make you feel at your worst. But we learn to manage it and still live our best lives and still make a positive impact. So I really hope the story touches you and helps you along whatever you may be struggling with. Thank you.
Softly through the stars.
Born as a middle child, I was always different. I had the darkest complexion of my three sisters. I was the quietest and I was also the most sickly. I guess the term middle child syndrome um, is what it was called what it's called now, but then it wasn't a thing. But yeah, I did fill out. I had two sisters. I have two sisters who are very confident and also very healthy, which I was not. Must add, I did grow up in a God-fearing home and had everything I needed. And I really am blessed and thank God for that privilege. Fast forward to my teen years, I excelled in sports. I did well, and I loved it. I loved the competition. I loved being on the sports field, and because that's where I felt who I am, you know. At the age of 16, which was in 1996, I got the flu and it would not go away. I was treated by the doctor with many antibiotics, but still no bueno. Actually, I started having joint pains and started getting blisters on my fingers. And thankfully, that doctor sent me to my current physician who diagnosed me with lupus at the time, SLE. And we obviously had absolutely no clue of what this is because nobody has ever had it that we know about. And while he was explaining what it is, all I can remember him saying is that there is no cure for such a disease, and if it is not managed or treated correctly, you could die. So obviously with this devastating news could not come at a worse time, as my dad's business was being liquidated and we were losing everything. I mean, to the last knife and fork in our house was being repoed. It was the first time I actually saw my mom burst into tears, as if all hope was lost at that time. The feeling of death, hopelessness, insecurity had set in. And although we believed in the healing power of Jesus, I could not help but feel abandoned by my Lord. It took me 8 weeks to recover. You know, when you're young, you recover quite quickly. So 8 weeks it was. Got back to school. I was very skinny. I was a skinny, tall child. And when I when I recovered, I was just skin and bone. When I got back to life, I was skin and bone. Absolutely no fat on my body. It took me another month to get back on the sports field, because I was determined to get back. I just made sure I was taking my medicine. I was using sunscreen and I had sufficient clothing cover over my body while I was on the field. I was in no way going to allow lupus to take my sports away from me, because that is where I found my identity. I was more or less fine for the rest of my school days. I did get sick, but I never landed up in hospital again. Reaching my 20s, I started to go on a downward spiral again. I landed up in hospital about 3 times, and of which 2 of them was due to lupus flare. The third one was because of the birth of my son. I got married at the age of 23, and I gave birth to our son at 25 years old. Knowing that pregnancy is dangerous for mom and baby due to blood clotting and high miscarriage rates, but I am so thankful my pregnancy was an absolute breeze. I did not even suffer with morning sickness, which was just another blessing, which I was absolutely thankful for. I confessed every day that I have a healthy, bouncy baby, and that is exactly what I got. I maybe should have taken it easy on the bouncy part, because boy, oh boy, was he a busy child. But he is healthy, he is strong, and once again, thankful for that. My 30s was the most eventful and the most challenging decade for me. I had 3 kidney stone operations. I did not have my period for more than 6 months. I went to go and see the gynae, and I went in for an op because she thought that she needed to do a DNC just to clean me out, hoping that that will restore the balance and I'd be able to get my period again, and just live normally as a woman. Once she finished the operation, she came to me and she explained to me that she saw quite a bit of scarring inside in my uterus, and was I aware that I had quite a few miscarriages. And I said I had no idea. So she didn't confirm a number for me, but you can range from about probably 10 plus. Look, it was a very bad time. And, when you're processing this through your mind, I just pictured lupus as being the gatekeeper. And once the egg probably fertilized in the womb, it felt as if it was ripped out of me, like the baby's trying to cling on for life, but yet lupus is saying you're not staying, and simply just rips this baby out of me. That's the picture I saw in my mind. So both myself and my husband were like, it hit us quite hard because we have been trying for quite some time to have another baby and it just didn't work out. But somehow I was protected from not knowing I've had so many miscarriages year in and month out. And only once, I stopped having my period, that's when we found out what was happening. So, in all your emotions, I remember myself sitting in hospital asking God why. Um, I'm a good person. I give. I work in the church. I don't drink. I don't smoke. Um, we just wanted another baby and I can't have one. Not fair. Not fair. It's a typical feeling you all have. Don't have an answer. But I can distinctly remember that night when I slept in that hospital bed. I dreamt of a little girl with this big white teeth running in a garden, long black hair with locks in her hair, smiling, running and jumping and just being happy, being looked after by family members that have passed on already. And somehow in that dream, I receive peace, that all is well, and that I will see them one day. Um, I just gotta keep going, and you know, it's all for the best. And I just left it at that. So that one was a bit difficult for me, and my husband. Also, what happened in my 30s is I was classified as obese, being overweight. I said earlier on that I was a tall, skinny child with no fat. Now I'm classified as being obese. 7 hospitalizations for lupus flares. I was also retrenched from my job. I had an appendix removal. So with this pain, this was before the whole miscarriage and all that. So with this, I had pains in my side, and with all the tests and the scans they did, they couldn't find a blockage. They couldn't find a reason to have an appendix removal. The doctor still said to me, your appendix is going to burst, but I don't know when. I mean, you can't live life just expecting for something to burst. What if it goes to septicemia? That is like dangerous, hello. So what I'd asked the doctor, I said, please can I just sign a disclaimer? I want you to remove this appendix. I want it out of my body, which was fine. He agreed to it. So after the op, I never had pains in my stomach again, on the side again. Everything was just fine. So, with lupus, you can't explain things because things can never be scientifically determined. That you have a problem here, you have a problem here, you have a problem here, because all the scans always come out clear. We don't see any scientific proof that there's a problem here. We can't explain your pains, your problems. That's just the life of having lupus. On the upside, I completed my degree in business management and then also completed a postgrad degree in business administration, all being in and out of hospital, all having a toddler, um, and going through all the stress and pressure of being a working mom. So that was good. That was a good upside to the end in my 30s. Eventually, I got so tired of the cycle, I decided to make a lifestyle change. And that is by eating correctly and exercising. And being consistent in this, it changed my life. I've never been as healthy as I was in the latter part of my 30s. It was sheer commitment and determination. I landed up in hospital once after that, of having 3 good years of great health. I even pushed it a step further, really pushed it a step further. I told you I was very quiet, timid to myself. I challenged myself to go stand on the stage and pose in a bikini competition showing off my hard work and commitment. I did this purely just to prove to myself and others that I am able to achieve whatever I set my mind to. We are so limited in our thinking that sometimes we fail to go beyond what we are able to achieve. And if you don't know, competing in a competition, a fitness competition, is hectic. 6 weeks of grueling exercise, eating cardboard, and really stressing your body out with exercises day and night. So that is a lot of cardio, a lot of weight in the morning and in the evening. So this stress does trigger lupus, unfortunately, because it's overtraining. And it's probably the reason why I ended up in hospital 3 months after that competition, because my body didn't fully recover from all that stress I put it through. And through this experience, I did start Max Me, which is my business, to help ladies with the same struggles to, to gain not only their bodies back, but their health, their confidence, and their life. We get so caught up with the busyness of life that we often lose track and start to neglect ourselves, which is to our own detriment.
In a little flower shop just east of Old Broadway, rushed a lad who only had
So in
time.
my 40s started off quite well, I would say. I was actually in the best shape of my life. I was really feeling good, and I was blessed to celebrate my 40th in Phuket, which was wonderful. Spending time in the sunshine, on the beaches, on the wonderful sea in the ocean. It was awesome. And that was just a couple of months before lockdown. Fast forward a year, 2021, COVID hit. Well, COVID hit the family. My dad passed away, and that threw my body into complete chaos and confusion. So, in that time, I spent a total of 12 weeks in hospital. I did all the tests you can think of, all the scans, even the lumbar puncture, everything, just to try and find where these problems are sitting. I was experiencing a lot of dizziness, headaches, inflammation. They did find eventually that I had pancreatitis, which was diagnosed, at least they just put me on an antibiotic for that. I had a couple of kidney infections, endometriosis, and I had 6 theatre visits for various procedures. The doctors really couldn't find a proper cause for the other symptoms I was experiencing because my lupus markers were actually low. Um, I was majorly depressed. I picked up about 30 kgs and could not shake the state I was in. I couldn't shake it off. I would try and try to get back to my normal lifestyle, try to exercise, try to eat healthy, try and stay positive, try and meditate, and I would be good for 2 to 3 days. And then thereafter I go, whoops, right down the slide again, back to square one. 2.5 years it took me to get out of this state. Something shifted 2.5 years afterwards. Something, I don't know. Outlook, I guess, because people have been praying for me. Thank goodness for that. Everything started to look positive. I could feel that I was slowly and eventually coming out of this rut I was in. I started to see the light. I had a closer relationship with my maker and stopped putting so much pressure on myself to lose weight. I was so upset of losing weight and trying to look like I did. And just accepting that it is time that is needed for my body to heal. You see, one cannot discover new oceans unless you lose sight of the shore. I was so fixed on what I looked like before I got sick that I could not see that this new journey is teaching me to be more patient with myself, to use wisdom in understanding the changes in my body. I had to be brave and not overthink it. When I had my hysterectomy, I was extremely fearful. This procedure is actually quite a big deal. I mean, it's just another organ that is being removed from your body, Melissa. I mean, really, get over it. No, it was quite a serious, and I was scared. The second day after the op, I needed to get up and start moving around. The pain, as those who have it had it removed, is unbearable. I tried myself, I struggled, and when the doctor came to come see me that morning, he refused to let me sit in my state and accept what I was accepting for myself. He says, this is not going to happen. You are not getting up, but you are getting up. All right? I had to get my mind right. I had to set those limitations in my mind saying this is going to be so painful and just do it. I had to use my legs and my butt to lift myself up from the bed. And after the fifth time, guess what? It worked. And it wasn't that painful. So what was I overthinking? What was I being so fearful of? Why was I not losing sight of what is behind me and just focusing on what is ahead of me? And that is a life not threatened by having cancer in my uterus. And I needed to let go, and I needed to get up, and I did it. So those squats that I love doing so much actually came in handy after all. You see, time is the great equalizer. No matter who you are or where you're from, we all have the same 24 hours in a day. This highlights the importance of using time wisely. It is a finite resource and cannot be replenished or extended. Whether it is pursuing your goals, spending time with your loved ones, taking care of ourselves, making the most of our time ensures that we live fulfilling and meaningful lives. I had to choose to get up. I tapped into the strength that is within me, that I believe is God given, and I believe is within each and every one of you. And you decide to progress forward. You decide to move to a better you, a better life. We're looking for progress here. We're not looking for perfection because we will not get it right all the time. We will fall, we will falter. But the point is, we still need to decide every single day to get up and go. Fall, shake yourself off, pivot yourself, and let's go again. And that is life in general. It's not only those who suffer from lupus. I am not feeling well at this moment. It's now going into the third week with bronchitis. My chest is heavy. I don't have energy to walk up and down the stairs. I am feeling a bit of anxiousness. But I get up every day. I take my meds. I say my prayers, and I move forward. It's a struggle, but I do it. In the background, I'm working with the doctors. I'm trying to find out what else we can do so it just doesn't get worse. But I'll get there. I know that there's always a bigger picture to why Melissa is going through this. And that is because what I have experienced and overcome is testimony and proof that you too can get through this. Those that feel no hope and are ready to give up, I'm here to tell you the light is there. You just need to keep progressing forward and forget about what could happen and just live in that moment. Love those around you. Laugh. Make beautiful memories. Give 100% of yourself to your life and not 99.9%. You're in charge of your schedule. Be strict on yourself. Have a plan. See a dietitian if you need to change your eating habits. Drink your water, drink your liquids, get your vitamin E, D in, and exercise. Or let's say move your body, get your joints moving. Lifting weights is my jam. I've moved away from jumping around like a mad cow, doing burpees and all that type of thing, trying to burn as many calories as possible. That doesn't work for me, as it sends my body into a flare because it is seen as overtraining. Instead, I use steady, slow, controlled movements in an effort to build muscle. Look, it's never late to start, but the sooner, obviously, the better for you. This has contributed majorly to my recovery and maintenance of where I am. Well, not now, but where I am. 3 to 5 times a week, at least 45 minutes, and your body will transform. You will feel so much more confident. Your body will respond positively as it's working with blood flow to the muscle. As you work your muscle, it tears your muscle, and when you rest, it repairs your muscle, and that is resulting muscle growth. You cannot get bulky. You will not look like a man if you lift up weights. I must just state that. I think it's been overstated, but yet so many women still believe if I pick up a dumbbell, I'm going to look like a man. No, you won't. You look fitter, stronger, and you'll feel great. That's what weights do for you. So in closing, 5 rules I live by. I love God with all my heart. Love people. Number 3, I eat a high protein diet. Number 4, I drink lots of water. And I strength train 3 to 5 days a week.
To say, give me 1 dozen roses, put my heart in beside.
So in conclusion, I've given you my story, and I've shared my story with you, and I trust and I pray that you draw strength from it, and it gives you some sort of positive outlook on what you may be going through. It's about making the most of every day with what you have. I pray that you decide to make the changes necessary that you know you should make. Not for you to procrastinate, not to overthink it, but just to dive in and swim. No option of turning back. I believe in each and every one of you listening to all this, and I need you to believe in you. They do say that believing in yourself is like wearing a cape. It won't make you fly, but it sure will make you feel invincible. So it's not why me, but rather why not me? I'm taking this disease by the horns and living my best life in spite of lupus. The victory is worth all the struggle. Thank you.
And beside them and send them to the one I love.
That concludes this podcast. Please review it on the platform you are listening on. Leave a comment below on topics you would like us to talk about. If you enjoyed this podcast, please hit the like button below, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Andrea's Gift, Teens and Tweens, Lupus South Africa, and Susie Eagles Flight. Thank you for listening, and remember, giving up is not an option. Bye.